Feeling chilly? SG Heating and Cooling. Fixing it right, day or night. SG Heating and Cooling is located at 7005 Cooley Lake Road in West Bloomfield. SG offers free estimates on new equipment and 0% interest financing for up to 18 months. Eligible equipment qualifies for rebates from Consumers Energy and DTE. SG will clean your furnace, verify it is working properly, and perform a safety inspection for only $59. SG also offers duct cleaning and sanitizing starting at $300. You can find us on the web at sgheatingcooling.com or call 248-242-6730 today for all of your heating and cooling needs. SG Heating and Cooling, fixing it right, day or night. 248-242-6730.
You're listening to CRBRadio.com. The words and opinions you are about to hear are of the hosts and do not reflect the management, sponsors, or affiliates of Cave Radio Broadcasting.
This the real nonsense, you better call in. Tune in, you might even hear your best friend. You know we live every Saturday, better tap in. Got some real knowledge for all you young men. Not just for men, it's for ladies too. All ages, we don't care if you 82. Cause it's the real nonsense. The real nonsense.
Coming to you live a stone's throw from the Motor City and courtesy of Cave Radio Broadcasting Studios in fabulous Redford, Michigan. This is The Real Nonsense, hosted by the gentleman to my left, Dr. Christopher Rogers. How are you, Chris?
Hey, great. Hey, Eric, what's going on? So the Real Nonsense Podcast is sponsored by Jared Davis Photography for the finest professional photography services of all types in the metropolitan Detroit area. Contact Jared Davis Photography, where we make the magic the world will want to see. That's 567-343-1980. So today, we have friend of the Real Nonsense Podcast is back. Our special guest today, educator, consultant, and chairperson of BRJ1 Media Group, Mr. Damion Jackson. Welcome back to the Real Nonsense, Damion.
Hey, I appreciate you.
Great. So, Damion, today we're gonna get into everything you do today. Last time you were here, we kind of hit and miss, but today we want to get into everything that you do because you do a lot of things, both on the education level and in the community. So we just want to talk about everything. I'm gonna put it all out there.
I'm here for you, bro.
Okay, so let's talk about let's start off. So I know you're in a couple things. So you got the BRJ1 Media Group, chairperson of the McKenzie High School Alumni Association, which is a big deal. You have your own consulting firm, Damion J. Jackson Educational Consulting. So that's three. Am I missing anything?
Three platforms.
Those
are the core right now.
Okay.
You know, as my wife and say, I'll be spreading myself too thin a lot of times. And I had to learn how to say no sometimes.
Learn how to say no. Yeah. I get the same speech at home, too.
Yeah.
I get the same speech. So what's going on with BRJ Media Group since the last time we talked? What's been happening with the media company?
Well, basically, you know, we do logo designs, brand marketing, flyers. It's grown since the last time we talked. I've been able to tap into other corporations, organizations, independent individuals that are looking, you know, to get, I consider logos and flyers done, or professional logos and flyers done. If you ever looked at some of our work on our website and everything, you can go to www.brj1mediagroup.org and you can see our style of branding.
Okay.
So I know that there's a lot of logo companies, a lot of marketing companies. Right. But also, one thing that we're actually trying to direct ourselves more in 2023 is to be able to brand other companies as well. Okay. So offering services to run social media branding, because if you have a company, there's no reason for an individual not to know who you are. It used to be, did you have a website? But if you have logo designs or you have your social media platform, be it the Facebooks, the Instagrams. I don't want to touch Twitter right now because you see what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But
layoffs and all.
Yeah. So, but if you branding every day and marketing your materials, there should be something out there that connect the people to you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go that route. I've been trying a little Instagram stuff here and there, but yeah, I think when you get into that, I think I want to go ahead and jump on that because That's a lot. It takes a lot to keep all that going consistently.
Correct.
All those platforms. I messed around with TikTok the other day. I tried and failed.
I still haven't tried that one yet.
Yeah, I can't. Eric, you mess with TikTok a little bit?
Right. So no, but I know the origin story. If you guys want to give me a minute on it.
The origin story of TikTok.
Yeah, it's fun. So
Sure.
you guys remember the picture from the 80s? It's from Tiananmen Square. It's the guy standing in front of the tank with the grocery bags.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. After that happened, China had to like open up a little bit, and the first thing that the youth of China gravitated towards was hip hop.
Okay.
So, and they have a culture of physical activity, and that kind of gets stereotyped as a culture of martial arts everywhere. So basically, every little village had a dance studio or something like a dance studio. And when hip hop became the thing that all the kids were listening to, all these studios had to become little hip hop dance studios, and they started challenging each other to however a dance off works when in China. I don't know, but if you remember, like TikTok, the whole like dance challenge thing on TikTok was what
Started.
propelled
Yeah,
it to
absolutely.
the next
Yeah.
level, and that's where it all comes from. Was from Chinese kids, fall in love with Run DMC and Grandmaster Flash.
TikTok is the man in my house that won't leave my wife's bedroom. So I compete with I compete with TikTok all the time. When I got the shower, wherever, my wife, the phone, and TikTok is just there. It won't leave.
Right.
But it's hilarious. I see a lot of videos, the animals and all of that. But I wish I knew how to use it because it's powerful.
It's a powerful tool. For me, I got a pro and a con for it.
Okay.
If you brand marketing and you're using the platforms in a positive way, it's cool.
Right.
But if you're looking at the bigger picture, and we might tap into it, for some of our youth, it's zombie-tizing them.
Yeah.
Because they got
absolutely
30-second, reels and everything,
Yeah.
and the way they programming it now is one reel after the next.
Yeah.
So it's a distraction to a certain degree.
Yeah. I always wonder what's going to happen with these videos in about 10, 15 years. Like all this stuff that's being collected about us, every moment of our life is out there. How does this look in about 20, 30 years? God forbid I'm still here to see what that looks like, but I don't make a lot of videos like that. I really want to push the platform as much as I can, so I'll definitely be calling you for that because I think that's important to get on that. And in terms of marketing, I mean, what would you say separates BRJ1 from everybody else that you see? Because there's a lot of people out there doing this. A lot of people doing logos,
I'm driven. I've always been driven. I think I get this from my grandparents. I'm driven on customer service and personalizing your customer service.
Okay.
So with our company, when you work with us, we offer 2 free revisions under the payment, initial payment. We work clearly at understanding what that want to look like. Because, I've never, even with my educational consultant business, I've never been in the business to take people money.
Okay.
I'm always keen to detail. So working with our clients individually, understanding what their brand wants to look like, going back and forth to make sure that it actually is perfected the way they want it. Separating yourself from, other branding and marketing companies. What I'm finding also is that if you're looking at the social media platforms or whatever, Mark Zuckerberg is doing and his team is that when you put out certain stuff, they attach certain other things in your algorithms. So we could be talking about marketing right now, in about 10 minutes, they're going to probably have about 5 different brand and marketing just because I said BRJ1 Media. And I have to go through and wipe it out. Yeah, but Big Brother is always listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you think the websites thing, that's pretty good. Because I paid maybe like $300 about a year ago to establish the Real Nonsense website. Mm-hmm. So you think website, that's kind of fading out, you think?
No, I'm gonna agree that it is. Because if you're branding the way you're marketing, a lot of companies want to see your presence on a website.
On a website?
On a website.
Okay.
The social media aspect gives you the day-to-day. Like what we're doing right now, I'm going live on Facebook.
Right.
So we talking about my company, we talking about your company.
Right.
It gives your following a base to actually see what you're actually doing outside of constantly, putting your logos out there and everything. But if you're trying to drum up contracts, first thing that I've been told and I've seen it proven is that most companies or individual clients want to see your website presence.
It's kind of hard not to get in your feelings with social media, and I don't mean what people say.
Right.
I mean, I see stupid stuff. I see stuff like people got 60,000 followers, right? And I'm struggling to get 600. And I'm like, how the heck do you have 60,000 followers? Like, how do you get to that point in social media branding? Like, how do you get there? Like, that's been a struggle for me. I don't get it.
So the other question I'm going to ask you is how much time are you allotting to brand your stuff on social media? I know you said something earlier.
Probably about 2 hours a day, maybe 3 hours a day.
So you're looking at, 15, 20 hours a week, if that, consistently.
Yeah.
The other piece is that are you utilizing and maximizing some of the services? Like Facebook has what's called a boost. You can pay. I've paid as minimum. What was that? 30 cents a day or something like it. Came out of like $25 a day, but you can actually do it yourself. There's ways of establishing your following. So with my company, I have my own personal page. I have a BRJ1 media group page.
Okay.
That goes with my own personal page, with a McKenzie High School alumni page.
Okay.
There's various different people in each one of those groups.
Okay.
So you can actually tap into, like when we have our meetings for the Alumni Association, each class have a page. So I'm a member of each class page. So 70, I'm going to go back to 68 all the way to the last class.
Wow.
So if each one of those classes had 500 people to graduate,
there you go.
You tap into that, and those 500 you tap into that resource base. But it's about your comfortability, about what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. That sounds like the way to go. I'm always curious about it when I look on Instagram and I see all these followers and I see people with a whole lot of followers.
Well, the thing you got to have that you need an expert for is search engine optimization, SEO.
Yeah,
that's the people who know how to listen to check out your content and know what tags to attach to it so that people who are going to like what you're doing can find you when they're just looking for something. Because people are constantly just looking for something.
Yeah.
Like nothing in particular. And it's to me that's the gas on the fire.
So is it an ideal account or client that you like to land with this media company? I mean, are you in terms of projecting how far you want to go and where you want it to be, like is the type of
I'm spirit led, so whatever God leads me into, or whoever He presents me at the table with, I'm open to it. It's just about being consistent and being present. And praying for that.
Exactly.
But I'm just let you know, I've serviced. My range goes once again from individual clients. I've done UAW 1700 union logos.
Okay.
So my portfolio is vast and who I serve, and a lot of it is based on word of mouth.
Gotcha. So before I get into the McKenzie alumni part, I want to take a break for an ad. So Mats by Lex offers custom doormats that are fun and unique to greet your guests before opening the door. Greet your guests before opening the door. Use the code REALNONSENSE at the checkout for 15% off your first order. Visit the website, www.matsbylex.com. So listen, I want to show you this mat because when I saw it online, I was like, okay, I got to get one of these, right? And I know you graduated from Lane, HBCU. And so I met with Alexis, who makes the mats, and I just want to show this. Can we put this on camera, E? A little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it?
You're front and center.
There we go. So I went to Southern University, and this is the Southern University mat. You got it?
Yep.
Killing it.
Little,
Okay.
little to your right.
My other right.
Your right.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. So this mat is fire, and so far I have like 2 of them in the house. You know, but that's the OCD thing. I'm trying not to have a 6. I buy everything in obsession. But hey, the mat is nice. It's comfortable. Is realistically priced. It's just a good bargain. She's a great lady. She does a good job. So again, if you want a mat, you want to order a mat today, custom mats, she can make just about anything to put on your doormat. Again, Mats by Lex, www.matsbylex.com. Use the code Real Nonsense for 15% off your first order. So, Damion, let's talk about the Alumni Association. So you are the chairperson of the McKenzie High School Alumni Association, and very large picnic every year. That picnic has been going on how many years now?
We are 29th year this year.
Wow, 29 years. And I didn't even realize it until like the 2000 something. I never went before that, but it was going on up there at the same spot.
94. I think they said it started in 94.
94.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Major.
Yeah.
I think I shared this before. We've changed the marketing and branding to traditional alumni picnics or weekends in the format of a HBCU weekend. So our weekend actually starts probably a Thursday before we all congregate on the field. So there's a lot of events, a lot of charity events, a lot of functions going on leading up. What I'm most proud of is that, and we just had a meeting 2 weeks ago, is that a lot of the class reunions now are gearing their class reunions towards that weekend. So their finale for the picnic ends up on the field versus going to the Belle Isles or the Laura Hurons. Everything is concentrated on the grounds that we once walked the halls of.
You know, logistically, how difficult is it to get that event together every year, logistically?
I'm glad you asked that question because we get a lot of complaints, and we just took a survey. But that project for the picnic is a 10-month project.
Wow.
And it costs us close to anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000 to host that event. So
and what funds that?
So
donations, contributions?
Donation. Well, we're official 501c3 now. So,
okay.
But prior to that, we asked that the alumni to pay their dues, which is $15 for 1 year, $25 for 2, which is inclusive of free admission to the picnic, and you get a free parking pass if you pay your dues. So that we have fundraisers. We actually have a fundraiser coming up December 17th, which is our annual Ugly Sweater fundraiser. That's coming up. So I don't know if you had opportunity to cruise with the Stags, but one of our other pillar fundraisers is the boat ride that we do on the Detroit Princess every year.
Okay.
That's usually around Mother's Day weekend.
Okay.
Which is this year we did numbers. So we did a competition amongst the classes. So the class of 1986 right now is in possession of our trophy.
Wow.
They brought out
86.
Yeah, they brought out the most classmates and sold the most tickets. But the alumni itself ranged anywhere on that boat from 1964 all the way to 2000.
That is incredible. That's incredible.
Yes. So we try to have at least 4 fundraisers per year. There is a $5 admission cost for the picnic, and there's parking fees inclusive. But like I explained to everybody, where can you go enjoy a $5 concert, because we do Jazz on the Line, featuring our very own LaShawn Gary and company.
Okay.
We have making it family friendly. And it's just a variety of different things. This year we had over 75 vendors on the field as well.
Wow.
So our goal was 100, but we got close to 75 vendors this year. So you had a variety of things to be able to occupy your time with, in conjunction or reuniting with your classmates.
So what's the head count out there usually? I mean, I know it transitions, people come and go, but
yeah, it varies. We crack close to probably 1,000.
Okay, that's a nice number.
Yeah.
That's a nice number. It is family friendly, and right there on the corner of Wyoming and Chicago.
Correct.
Every year, it's a great deal. So in terms of and this is something I was talking to a couple schools about this year when I was going around, the importance of having a strong alumni association for a school, especially a school that's open and still operating. What do you think is some of the biggest added value that alumni associations bring to high schools? We know what they do for colleges, but for high schools, what do you think? What would you say?
So for us, we've been fortunate enough, although the school has closed, to still be able to develop our relationship with the McKenzie K through 8.
Okay.
We're active in the school. So even if they use it as a platform or a blueprint, we sponsor the staff breakfast every year at the K8.
Okay.
We sponsor the academic games trips because they've been national champions for the last 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
We do a big book bag and school supply drive. We just donated over 500 book bags earmarked for the middle school only because Mike Morris only donates book bags for K through 5 students.
Okay.
So we don't want any of our students at the K8 to feel neglected. So every year, and we've been doing it since 2016, we've earmarked our book bag drive for 6th through 8th. We just did the trunk or treat on Halloween, which had over 1,000 students, which was led by community residents and students, which was led by our board member, Lisa Carter. She does an excellent job every year in terms of raising candy and the function itself,
Gotcha.
So, and when you hear McKenzie High School Alumni Association attached to that, people know who we are. Now, I can't say about what other high school alumni associations are doing. I know I'm in close contact with Henry Ford's president and Cooley's president, and we work all closely and kind of piggyback off each other's ideas from time to time.
I heard they were thinking about doing some things at Cooley. We had Dr. Harville here last week, who's running for re-election for the school board, and she was talking about actually Finney trying to get its name back. And some other things like that. So Cooley Alumni Association is kind of strong, huh? It's a lot of
very strong, very strong.
Yeah. Wow. I haven't been over that way in a minute. And Cooley closed before McKenzie did, actually, right?
Right after we did.
Right after. So what's down the road for the Alumni Association of McKenzie? What?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah, what's down the road?
Right now, one of our biggest projects, which was on halt because of the pandemic, is that when you spoke about Cooley and other schools that's doing some things, and I got to congrat Finney because I used them as a benchmark in our meeting last week. And the reason I said that is because you spoke on the name change from East English Village to back to Finney.
Yeah.
They took about 12 board members to the Board of Education to fight for that. And I don't care how small it might be, and that's a victory to be for that community.
Yeah.
So, and what Cooley is doing in terms of, have you been over to the Durfee site, Durfee Middle School?
Not in a minute.
Okay, if you get a chance, you might want to tour that, is that the model that Cooley is looking at doing is what Durfee Middle School has done, and that's / a community center.
Okay.
And I believe they still have access to school orientation programs, but I've been to a couple events over there and the remodelization and how they invested over there. If Cooley pulls that off, that's going to be a nice pillar for that community as well.
Yeah.
So going back to asking what McKenzie High School Alumni Association is forecasting to do, the vision of mine under my watch has always been to purchase the field. So we're getting ready to start our capital campaign again, which I must say that Dr. Vitti has been very attentive in terms of responding back to us being interested in purchasing that field. So any McKenzie Alumni Association members that's out there, we are getting ready to benchmark and raise $350,000 so that we can make a serious bid for the field.
Okay.
So it's going to be, I don't want to lay out the whole blueprint, but we want to be able to own the field ourselves. We've been taking care of the field for the last 28 years.
Okay.
We've only had to lease the field the last 3 years, And even with that being said, we were taking care of Hamburg Field as well as an alumni base. So it's only fair to us to be able to have the opportunity to be able to pitch for that field. And there's some things that we want to lay out in partnerships with some professional ball club teams, and still had a partnership with the DPSCD to allow the school to have access to it for various things for the students. But that's one of our big goals, to be able to purchase the field owned by the Alumni Association.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yes.
On the whole field.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's a nice plan. That's a nice plan. So, I guess in terms of membership, what do you stand now, and what do you want it to be as a chairperson? Where do you stand now in terms of head count?
So I have a membership chairperson. That's a good question for Tiffany Nance. But I believe we're, if not close to over 100 active paid members.
Active paid
members. There's a difference. We're probably 7,500 strong in activities that doesn't cost funds.
Right.
But when I say those that are paying their dues,
right,
and are active about it, we may be over 100, close to 150.
Okay.
And we're up for, reevaluating those as well because, like I said, you have some that's 1 year, some that's 2 years to be able to, make those consistent transitions.
So you could pay by a year, or you could pay like in lump sum for a few years, or
well, right now it's just 1 and 2, and we right now been exploring for the last couple of years as well our lifetime memberships.
Yeah, I was going to ask that actually.
Yeah, so that's kind of tricky for us because we want to know what. And the reason I say it's tricky because at one point we were under the impression that the class of 1968 was our oldest class, but there's been so much positive energy going on with the Alumni Association. We've been approached by members from classes of 50s.
Wow.
I actually was transported classmates from 1967, 61, all on the field last year.
Wow.
So now it kind of put us in a trajectory of how do we manage what is a lifetime membership. Now we might have to explore maybe, like you just said, multiple years, 10, 15, or 20 year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm proud to say and excited, we just spoke about it at the meeting, is that we've had several members attend the 50-year picnic. You have to graduate or be an alumni member for 50 years to go to an additional picnic, which is held at Hines Park every year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the class of 72, which had the opportunity to go to the 50-year luncheon because they made 50 years as alumni. And this is held every year in September.
I don't know how I got into this conversation in my car, but I can't remember who I was talking to in my car. We were talking about high school graduation or whatever. And she told me when she graduated, and I said when I graduated from high school, and I said, wait a minute, how long have I been out? And I actually said, wait a minute, let me stop for a minute and do the math. 38 years.
About pretty fast then.
38 years. I couldn't believe that I've been out of high school for 38 years.
Right.
My daughter's 30. I'm like, wow, that's a long time. I mean, and a lot of it's still clear as day, right? Everything is still clear as day. I remember everything, homecoming, like a lot of things I just remember clear as day. But yeah, 38 years is a long time. But then you talk about class of 60. I was born in 66, so that's a long time as well. You're teaching now, right? You're in a school building teaching?
Yeah, I'm back in the classroom.
And what subject is that?
I'm doing middle school ELA.
ELA.
6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Sure.
How's it going this year back from the pandemic? Every time I ask teachers that, they just bust out laughing.
You know what? Last year was my first year, and I did high school English last year.
Okay.
But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of like a new teacher again, post-pandemic.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think I was going to like going back in the classroom. But each day is something new and exciting, not challenging, new and exciting.
Exactly.
You know, I've been on this campaign. Our students need us. I'm serious on a variety of different levels. I have my own male mentoring program in the building. But just on some social aspects of being able to bond and be able to nurture, we had the Mr. Osaka's, the Aylers, and all those in the building, but understanding that male presence and, letting them know that we care and being consistent. But what I'm seeing every day and hearing, our students definitely, I don't care what schools you may be at or teaching at, from what I see, they yearn for consistency.
Yeah. Eric and I were talking with Dr. Harville last week, and we were talking about the week before, we were talking about, kids did need a lot of assistance when they came back from the pandemic, but I think we kind of missed the ball with the adults, because a lot of adults came back with a lot of issues after the pandemic. I mean, what's your take on that? I mean, in terms of, you know what I would like to see? I'm gonna tell you, and I'm glad you brought up the mentoring thing. I remember back in the 80s, the Million Man March, then all the things that grew out of that, and the mentoring programs that grew out of that. But sometimes it seems like something starts and the momentum is strong, right? And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, it just kind of fizzles out, And when we talk about mentoring, and we talk about mentoring in the inner city and being consistent in that effort, how do we keep a level of consistency where we're able to service these kids, particularly young men, and I don't care if they're black, white, Puerto Rican, whatever, our young men in general, all across the board, do need some mentoring, but specifically in the inner city, we know our African-American young men definitely need it.
Yeah, passion and consistency, I'm going to be honest with you. If you're not passionate about it, you're going to be haphazard about it.
Yeah.
Some of us got to get out the mindset of, if it's not mine, I'm not going to worry about it. All the students are really ours.
Yeah, they're all ours.
I had a conversation, I stayed after work yesterday, mentoring a young man, and it probably was 30 or 40 minutes out in the parking lot, just based on some things I'm seeing him trending not to do, and at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I had a time now, but what I'm saying is that if I catch him in the building 5 or 10 minutes, but to actually, stand in the parking lot, and this is something I appreciated about being at when I attended Lane College, is that at the time it was a small college, no more than 1,000 students. They have 5,000 now, but we talking in the early 90s. My education didn't stop in the classroom. I could catch my professors in the parking lot, and we'd be up under the tree talking until whatever dusk came.
Absolutely.
So watching myself being able to do that with young men and young women in terms of dropping jewels, and I have a thing that I tell them, I'm not criticizing you, I'm not penalizing you, I'm dropping jewels and giving you some knowledge that's going to allow you to be able to be successful in life after you leave here.
Yeah, I had a mentoring group back at Durfee in the 90s, and when I transitioned from Durfee, obviously there was no one there to keep it going. But I see a lot of organizations, like I said, they start, because if our young men don't play sports, who's mentoring them? Right. I mean, if they don't have coaches, bands are almost obsolete now, so you got a few bands here or there, so they don't have that. But if they don't have a football coach or a basketball coach or a soccer coach or something, they're just kind of free willy, in the system. And I just wish that we had a little more consistency across the board. I know I see you grinding on Facebook doing what you do with your students all the time, but I'm just wondering, even at the adult level, when you see these adult mentoring programs going on when men are working together, it starts and then you don't see it anymore. And I'm like, well, what happened? Is it just a falling out of philosophical ideas, or?
Go back to passion and consistency.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? For us being in education, for many of us, it's got to be a passion.
Yeah.
You're not really paid what you think you're worth, or you should be worth, but your gifts go way beyond. Like I said, I was at Trunk or Treat, and
I always get it mixed up.
Yeah, and a student from I resigned from DPS in 2007, but a student that went to Cerveny, that was the last school I was at. She was like, I remembered you at Cerveny, and I couldn't put her face together, but must have been an impact, and it was a positive one. So it go way beyond, if we doing what we supposed to do, the time that we invest in, So I'll stick and say passion and consistency.
Yeah. So let me take you down an HBCU journey for a minute. So recently, Jackson State was on ESPN playing Southern. We were in the studio. Weren't we that day, Eric? We were in the studio. I think so. Blowout. That was a blowout that day. I was very upset about that one. That was a long ride back to Novi. I went 35-0 was not good for me. But I always say the band won. That's all I say. The band won. Okay.
Gotta have the positive.
Yeah. So, but Deion Sanders. First, I was shocked that he even took the job at Jackson State. To be honest, I was kind of shocked that he did. But he doing so created a whole different level of exposure for Jackson State. I mean, what's your thoughts on his presence at Jackson State? How that has permeated to other HBCUs and what that has done for the level of exposure. What's your take on that?
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Deion is the right person for it. His energy, his stakeholders. He got a son at the quarterback. I think he got two. Just seen something the other day. His daughter's getting ready to play basketball or volleyball.
Wow.
So he's totally invested in Jackson State. It's not that he's taking a position.
Right.
And his children are somewhere else, even with the recruitment of, top 5 and top All-American and all city students.
I know they were shocked. I mean, can you imagine how shocked coaches were when that guy just said, "I'm going to Jackson State"? Yeah, I'm out.
But it's not a surprise though.
Yeah.
If we look at some of the greats that was in the NFL, Jerry
Absolutely.
Rice,
Jerry
you know
Rice.
what I'm saying? Walter Payton came out of Jackson State, so it's been there. It just was on the decline, because a lot of students were picking Big Tens or SECs, but now it's a turnaround time, and the energy is there,
You know what I like, and I always said when we were in college, I want to see the day when you get to see, because we would always be on, but in the tournament, like you would see Southern will always, our basketball team would always make the tournament, so we would always be in the round of 64. We'd get eliminated in the first round, but we were there, and you would see us like on what's those channels? TNT and
TNT,
TBS. Yeah,
right.
TBS, like an off station, something like that. Never on ESPN.
Early games.
Yeah, early game. Right, 1 o'clock. Yeah,
right.
Here's Southern. So, but to see prime time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when you got Michigan and somebody else playing on ABC, and you got Southern and Jackson State playing on ESPN, and ESPN is physically in Jackson, Mississippi. That's the exposure that I think those other kids want, but thought they couldn't get.
But I'm just going to say this. It opened up a whole lot. Lane this year, I think we've played 3 games on ESPN 3. We actually beat Tennessee State this year.
Wow.
On ESPN 3. So,
wow.
Yeah, so it's opened the market for all the HBCUs, So, like I say, prime time, he's the right guy for the position. A lot of us got gifts. Yeah. And I think he actually maximized what his gift and talent is in terms of being inspiration, to a lot of students, a lot of families, but for the school itself. I think they say his salary is like $500,000, but he's actually going out recruiting major corporations to renovate the campus, the stadiums, the locker rooms. He's a brand himself, so.
Absolutely, it's prime time.
Yeah, I speak on him all the time. I love the energy, for real.
Yeah. Do you talk to your students a lot about, or do they talk to you a lot about the HBCU experience and actually going to HBCUs? Or?
Over the years and currently, my high school students last year, I'm talking to my middle school students. My thing is, the earlier they are exposed to information, the more chances that we're going to have a better chance of them being high school graduates and applying. So I'm talking to my 7th and 8th graders now and I'm bringing in, and I'm probably going to have to get you to come in too, but even with my mentor program, I just started my guest speaker series. And the more they hear it, I think a lot of them are actually going to go that route.
Yeah. In the last 10 years, I would go in schools and say, hey, man, I'll go in counseling offices and be like, where's the HBCU pennants in your office? And now it's like, where's the Southern pennant? Right. You got everything else but Southern, so I see everything else. And just the awareness of it, the acknowledgement of it, instead of feeling like, and I said this before on the show, I think a year ago, not recommending kids go to HBCU as a dumping ground because they can't get into Michigan or Michigan State, but recommending they go there because they're going to get a valuable education, not just a dumping ground.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Huh?
That was the best decision I ever made.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
So,
Me too. And I started at Alabama A&M.
And
Finished at Southern.
I'll say this though, and one of my partners with my mentor program went to University of Michigan.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to be involved at Lane, what was called, and you probably know about it, was called the BEAT program, Black Executive Exchange Program.
Okay.
And they flew in top executives for 2 years. Only 12 people were selected. They taught us how to eat, 5-star, 7-star.
Wow.
Dinners,
Okay.
interviews. So I have a tie that, like right now, that Lane College colors. And I tell anybody, if I'm interviewing for a position, I wear that tie for a reason, because I know I can compete with the University of Michigan's, Michigan State's.
Yeah.
You know, and confident about it because of the training and development that I had at the small college. And our logo was the school, what was it? The Power of Potential.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying is that because you couldn't get into the predominantly universities doesn't mean that you're not going to get that same quality.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of students that talk to me about going to HBCUs. When I'm walking around the district, they do talk to me about it. And the only thing I say to them is I think it's a wonderful experience. You get a great education there. But just look at your resources before you leave. Look at what your support system is going to look like before you go, because that's important. I always talk about when schools say, hey, we graduated this many kids and we have this many scholarships, that information is great, but how many of them, are you tracking the retention? Are you tracking that rate?
You can go local.
Yeah, I want to know how many stayed and how many finished.
You can look at where you stay. The statistics are there, man.
Yeah,
So, you know what I'm saying? It's about getting them in, but like you just said, how many are actually going to stay for 4.5 years to finish up? So I'm totally agreeing with you on that.
Exactly. So I got a couple of other questions to ask you, but I want to take a commercial break real quick.
All right.
So our sponsor, Jared Davis Photography, for the finest, I'm tied-tongued today for some reason, for the finest professional photography services of all types in the metropolitan Detroit area. Contact Jared Davis Photography, where we make the magic the world will want to see. Call 567-343-1980. And again, Mats by Lex offers custom door mats that are fun and unique to greet your guests before you open the door. Use the code Real Nonsense at the checkout for 15% off your first order. Visit the website www.matsbylex.com. Damion, you're an avid golfer, huh?
I love it.
Golf game. Let's talk about how's your golf game. Eric, you play golf?
I have never swung a golf club in anything but anger.
Really? So let me tell you. I went golfing, and I invited two friends, mutual friends of me and Damion. So I invited our sponsor, Jared, and another friend, Mike.
Right.
And this was some years ago. I went to the AKA golf tournament, right, out in Pontiac. So I played 9 holes, Eric. My arms felt like straight rubber. Like I didn't realize a par 3 is really hitting a ball the length of 3 football fields, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you see it on TV, it's like, and see Tiger Woods.
Makes it look easy.
Unfortunately, he made it look too damn easy because it's not that easy, right? My putt game is better than my off the tee game. Yeah.
I love it, man. That's a game that I call it a domestic dispute. It's abusive. Makes you come back because it's any man hole at any given time. So, like you just spoke about a par 3, you can hit a shot perfect off
any
one
given Sunday in football.
Yeah,
huh?
and then the next hole you straight mentally break down. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get it back in. But over the years, man, I've improved. Ask Jared.
See, there we go. The trash talking begins on this show. Okay, I'm gonna ask them.
Ask him, man.
So I'm not familiar.
And I golf with them regularly, so I was little bro for a long time. Now
No, you're big bro.
You've been waiting. You've been waiting for this.
Right, he was waiting to say that. So I'm familiar with, what is it, like 60 something? It's like what's a good score in golf like? Average?
Well, each course has its own. The thing about the courses is that they can range anywhere from 68 and 18 to 72.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's the score now. Anybody that's not an avid golfer. You got to play a lot of golf to actually beat those scores. I'm what's considered a weekend golfer because we work.
Right.
So if anything, my thing is anytime I come up under 100 or in the 90s, I'm straight.
Okay.
And I go out and I try to tweak other stuff that I want to work on, like chipping and various different things. And you don't go out to beat your guys a lot of times. You actually go out to beat the course. That's what's a lot of misconceptions because your car going to tell who won at the end anyway. So,
right.
And I call it, for me, it's the next best thing to chess because it's a mental game.
Okay.
And that's what I enjoy about it because it makes you think. Each course, and I'm just going to say, period, Michigan is really is like one of the best states to golf. We got over 600 golf courses in the state of Michigan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
It's beautiful, man. Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it's a variety of courses, man, that we have here, man. But
I got married at Beacon Hill. They had a golf. Yeah.
But I've been in Mount Pleasant. You can go to Gaylord. A lot of these
heard about
guys,
Gaylord.
You know what I'm saying? Grayling, Michigan. It's
now, isn't there one right there on Grand River between like Telegraph, near Telegraph over there? Isn't that? That used to be one, right? On Bird. Grand River.
Bonnie Brook.
Yeah, it's down because you could get to it on Bird. That
used to be Bonnie Brook.
Oh,
that's where the U-Haul place is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that used to be Bonnie Brook back in the day.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, we here in Michigan have a lot of beautiful, beautiful tracks and courses, man. So, but I like to travel too. I won't play in Florida though. They can have the game.
So listen, a lady got fired this week from what was she? Fox News, NBC News, or something. She said Florida is a beep state, DI beep state, and so she got fired from a major news station. She just called it out. She just got tired. She got tired of Florida news. Florida is a little unique these days in and of itself.
I mean, you can just call it the Ohio of the South. Doesn't everybody know what that means?
You know what? I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Right.
I'm not going there.
All right.
The Ohio of the South. I've never heard. Okay, I'm going to put that on Facebook today. The Ohio of the South. Yeah. If somebody wants to get into golfing, like if they want to buy a bag, like what's the game cost? $30, $25?
It depends, man. I'm going to be honest with you, I thought it was a rich man's game for about 20 years. I had clubs for 20 years and never played it, man. I used to watch my father and my uncles go. They was semi-retired, we could go for a weekend. But no, actually, it's a economic game, man. Once I got into it, my father and I used to go to golf shows out in Novi Show Place, man. You buy the coupon book, you can play 2 for 1 at different tracks, all of that, man. Depending on what courses you want to play, like the local courses, you can get on Southfield if you're a resident or any Livonia right here, Glenhurst, anywhere from under $25 for 18.
I mean, I'm living over by Chandler Park. That course is still running. I bet their rates are very reasonable.
Yeah, it's city parks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying it depends on what you know. If you want to go to like a Moose Ridge or some of these challenging courses out there, you're gonna pay anywhere between $45 to $60 around.
So a novice golfer wants to get in the game. Do you recommend getting rookie clubs, something in the middle, the best clubs? What do you recommend?
So there's a couple different ways you can go.
Okay.
I tell people buy used clubs, so because you want to develop a swing, man. You don't want to go out. You remember going to the basketball court and everybody looked like Jordan, but you gotta have the outfit on. He couldn't really play.
So you come out there with a $1,000 club and you can't swing. Yeah,
that's a wasted investment.
Yeah,
but, you know, I'm on my third set, so
okay.
And I piecemeal my first set. So my third set is officially my Callaway's. I ordered the right set for me because, like I said, over 20 years, I feel comfortable enough with my swing and everything that everything come together. But I done had TaylorMades, the whole 9 yards, man. But like I said, that game, it's a domestic dispute, man.
Well, I gotta guess it's kind of like a musical instrument where, like, if you go, your first one should be something cheap and used and is just okay. Because then when you spend the money on the good stuff, you appreciate it.
Yep.
You start out with the good stuff. Yep. I mean, what if it doesn't go well? What are you doing?
Sometimes, you know, I was tempted sometimes to say, you know, because I know sometimes you guys are going. I'm like, I should go out there. Then, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, nah, that's not really my thing.
It's
but
fun, though, bro.
Do either of you guys ever do the simulators?
I did. I just was out in Trenton last week.
How's that?
I love it. You know, it's not. You know, it's practice. You know,
Right. That's what I'm. That's.
But yeah.
I guess what I'm wondering is like have you tried something out in a simulator and have it translate to real world game?
I'm gonna tell you, for me, yes. So I go to Golf Galaxy out in Troy, if I'm not mistaken, off of Big Beaver, from time to time. And Jared and them know this story is that the older gentleman that got my game together, he had to be about 70 or 80, about 70 years of age. But he had me on the golf simulator. I went in to get a club fix. He worked me out for an hour and 10 minutes. I had on blue jeans. When
You gonna try out this club, young man?
But when I finished and I kept everything he told me, it changed my whole game.
Wow.
I'm talking about he went old school. Lee Trevino, Arnold Palmer. He told me
The
some
greats,
things.
the greats.
How to put the wedges in the sand, and you know how to measure your swing and everything. Because it was a mental thing that I was doing, and he was like, nah. And I till this day I use that same technique, man. You see the results. But I'm saying I had on Levi's, a polo shirt, went to go pick up a club, and he pulled me in there. He was a golf guy.
Hey, people say video games never did nothing for nobody.
No, that's right.
Come on now.
I tell you, the hardest, and it's funny you say that because I had a Wii, a Nintendo Wii.
Yeah.
All right. And bowling on Nintendo Wii is real.
Yeah.
It's the real deal.
Listen.
It's the real deal.
Bowling and tennis on the Wii.
The real deal.
Like, not only do I own it, like I developed this whole like left-handed, goofy, backhanded motion thing to nail the hook, and it was sad.
I played the video game Tiger Woods Golf a lot, you know, and you gotta that requires skill too because you gotta line it up right, you gotta make sure you pull it back right, you know. So yeah, I think I want to get into that because it seems very relaxing, man. It seems like, and it's a way to network.
No,
right?
it's major, but I'm a nature nut, so it got everything that I like, man. Trees,
you outside,
everything, man. And if you playing in the morning, like I don't really like playing after 12 o'clock unless it's twilight, you know. But if you out early, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, get in before 12,
get out.
It's tranquil.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought 2, 3 o'clock, something like that was prime. No.
Me and the earth, I'm good.
Before it's 85 degrees outside.
Yeah. I mean, can you have a cigar out there? Can you drink?
All that.
All that.
That's the whole. That as far as I
think I'm gonna
understand
go
golf,
now.
As far as I understand golf, that's the draw.
Yeah.
You and your boys, drinks and cigars, 3 hours,
and then you probably didn't hear they got this hole called the 19th hole.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
After everything, you back in the clubhouse.
Oh yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna try golf. I think I'm gonna go try it. I need to do something, you know, kind of like to get out sometimes, get some exercise.
Come out, man. It's fun. Don't be intimidated about it. You know, all of us got our own specialties, and the best way, I'm gonna be honest, if you want to have fun, like you said, play those tournaments. You know what I'm saying? That's fun golf, man. Anybody really criticizing you just out there like, you know, you having fun with your guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I was just tired because I had never swung a golf club before.
Go to the range a couple times a week, though. That's what I'm saying. Even if you don't even hit a course, pick your range to go to and take your clubs out. That'll keep you loose, you know what I'm saying, in terms of swinging. And then when you get out there, you'll have some. Because, you know, muscles have memories.
Right,
so,
exactly.
You know, you developing your muscle memory with swinging your club and everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So, look, before we get ready to close out, I want to talk about a couple things. Well, I'm going to talk about one thing, actually. So, with everything you got going on, Chairperson McKenzie Alumni, your educational consulting business, the media company, I mean, what's on the horizon more? I know you say, hey, my wife tells me sometimes I spread myself too thin, but you know, when you're an aspiring person, you're an ambitious person, it just is. It's just in your blood, right? Some of us, that's just who we are. Some of us are just driven naturally, right? We don't need any motivation. We just wake up driven. And I tell my wife all the time, I wake up like that. You know, I always wake up with something on my mind, something I want to do, something I want to venture out to. So what's next for Damion?
Actually, during the pandemic, I actually started another company with one of my college buddies, Mr. DeMarco Thurman, and that's called Academic Technology Logistics Champions and Solutions, and it's another educational. So we call it ATLCS. So you know, we don't have to go through all that, but it's another educational consulting group that we put together. He was actually my math specialist when I had with Damion Jackson Educational Consulting Services. But we're branching out in terms of tapping into more school districts, after-school programming, resources. We both come with a plethora of experience, almost, I want to say, close to 50 years combined in education experience. So we're looking at tapping into some of those things, getting on the national level, doing some conferences, providing some platform services for individuals as well. So that's what we're excited about. And that's been in the making for the 2 years. But we just, like I said, the pandemic started us out. And we getting excited about rolling our sleeves up and seeing what, you know, what it's going to bring to us. And like I say, he's a Lane College grad, Detroit guy, went to Redford, you know, but real good dude and everything. I'm looking forward to, you know, doing some things with him.
Okay. So for our young people that may be listening to the show or watch the show later, in terms of building themselves out, branding like you've done, establishing yourself out here, what's the best advice you got for them to get it going?
Don't get discouraged. You're gonna, as an entrepreneur, you're gonna have good days and bad days, but you got to stay consistent. You know, statistics show you do not make money within the first 5 years of your company. All the research and all of your energy and time. Don't be afraid to set your value as well, because when people are asleep, you are up doing research and everything. They don't know what hours you put in, actually networking, cold calling, and doing all of. So when you looking at it compared to being an employee and you owning your own business, you got to ask yourself, what's your worth or what's your value? So don't be afraid to do that.
Great. Eric, it's been another great episode, right?
Oh man, I mean, do we do bad ones?
No, we don't.
Will they let us know? Is anyone gonna be like, man, guys, that was awful. Don't do that again.
Right.
It hasn't happened yet.
Absolutely.
We're batting 1,000 so far.
Absolutely. So this has been another great episode of the Real Nonsense Podcast with BRJ1 Media Group Chair, Mr. Damion Jackson. Join us next week 2 weeks on the 19th with retired Lieutenant Colonel Elizabeth Peters, who is the Director of Army Instruction for Detroit Public Schools Community Districts. The Colonel's going to come in and talk to us about her program and the direction she wants ROTC to go in and the benefits of ROTC for our kids.
And I was 4 years in Corps Commander, so I'm going to try to not dominate the whole interview.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. All right, thanks. Peace out.
Have a good one.
Yes.